Check it out. Here we are in Kapuskasing again. Bonne année. Good. Happy New Year. And welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Garden City movement from the Circle here in Kapuskasing. So Kapuskasing, Ontario. It's way up north from Toronto. I did a video on that the other day. And first of all, a couple little corrections. The last live stream I did, I said that the Kapuskasing runway here at the airport was 4,500 feet. Turns out it's 5,500 feet. That's a good sized runway. And as a flight instructor, you got to correct your mistakes so the students don't learn things wrong. And another thing I made a mistake about was the creton. How do you spell that? It's actually Creton's. There's an S at the end. So there we go. Spelling correction on creton. And I'm doing my job. So yeah, the last live stream that I was doing here was I was kind of talking about what you can do in Kapuskasing and, what I was planning on doing for that day. And also, hi, Shecky and Jordan. I see you there. Thanks for coming by today. And so what I did the other day, I went over to the Moonbeam Country Store, which I was planning on doing anyways, and picked up a nice pair of slippers. And I ended up meeting the owner there, France, and she was really nice to promote my channel on her. I think she did it on Facebook. So, anyways, thanks a lot, France. Merci beaucoup. And another thing I did that day was I was going to go check out and see what the cheese is like here, because they have the fromagerie Kapuskoise, which means the fromagerie Kapuskoise. Yeah, they make cheese there. And so I got a few free samples. It was all tasted great. Had to make a decision what cheese to buy. And I got some super fresh curds there, super fresh cheese curds. They were the squeakiest curds I've ever had. They're fantastic. Now that it is like artisan cheese, so it's a little bit cheaper than or a little bit more expensive than what you would actually pay for in a grocery store. But you get what you pay for sometimes. Right? You can see my little notes flying over here in the corner. Luckily, it's not too windy today. It's about -7, so I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Maybe it's I don't know, 715, something like that. And so then there was that. But the thing I forgot that I was going to mention in my last live stream, there was one thing that was like really getting on my nerves. Like, I just can't remember what I'm going to be doing. How could I forget? I was going to be playing bingo on Saturday at 4 o'clock. So there's this cool thing, and this is my actual bingo card. There we go. And what do we got here? I almost won. See, because there's like 3 here. 1, 2, 3. If I would have got those, I would have got $1,500. But oh well, it's it's more fun just to kind of play. And so the whole thing about that bingo is in Kapuskasing, it's really unique. It's done over the radio. So there's this radio station here. It's a French community radio station called CKGN or CKGN, and they play like kind of French music and old classics around Christmas time, New Year's, and it's kind of a neat little station, and it's totally community run. So one of the ways that they raise money is they have like radio bingo, and it's a big deal up here. So what you can do is you go to different little corner stores. Like you can't see it here, but I'm right across from the Circle Confectionery. It's actually pretty busy today. And so at the Circle Confectionery, I checked, and you can buy your bingo cards there. And every little corner store here sells the CKGN bingo cards. And then you can go home, and at 4 o'clock on Saturday, you just tune in to CKGN, and you get to play bingo. And it's pretty cool. So the proceeds for that go to fund the station. And it's also neat the way that the community comes together. So like each, say you're going to be saying, and if you ever do want to listen, it's kind of bilingual. So if you want to learn your numbers in French, you could do that. So here we go. They would say something like, what we got for B for bingo. So they would say B2. This number is brought to you by what do we got? CIBC. There we go. The bank over there. I remember the CIBC sponsored a number on the bingo, and Scotiabank over there. Yeah, the circle's really cool here. Yeah, we got the post office is there, little corner store, a couple banks. It's Canada. You got to have a couple banks within eye shot downtown. And yeah, so that's kind of cool. I played bingo, didn't win, but hey, it was still pretty fun. Kind of playing with everybody, and and a lot of families get together and they play that. So there we go. A shout out for CKGN bingo. Sorry, I forgot you last time. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about the Garden City movement. Now, Kapuskasing really prides itself on being I forget they word it differently here and there. It's like the most planned, first centrally planned. It's a super planned town. We'll put it that way. Yeah. So what happened was when they first started up the mill here. So I think I mentioned that in my last live stream. So they have a paper mill here, and they needed a bunch of newsprint for the New York Times. So they said, well, there's lots of trees up here, but there's nobody around. And then they set up at the Kapuskasing River here. So Kapuskasing is actually it's a Cree word, which means, I think I'm right on this, is where the river bends. And so the river actually does bend, and there's a little bit of a waterfall there. So they could set up a hydroelectric dam, not a dam, but a hydroelectric plant off of the waterfall that would power the mill. And then also on the river, that was a great way because there weren't a whole lot of roads around. They could go into the bush and cut down the trees, and they could float them down the river to the mill. And then they just bring them from the river into the plant, and then they could ship off all the paper and lumber and stuff like that on the train. So that's what they had to do. They said, okay, we got a plant here. It's going to have, like a bunch of employees, but there's no town. So I guess we got to make a town. So what they did was the Ontario government, they paid a company to say, okay, boys, go to it, design a town for us. And then so what they did was at the time, there was this thing going on with urban planners called the Garden City movement. And so that started up by, once again, I'm getting this off of Wikipedia, so I sound really smart, but you can check it out on Wikipedia for more info. And so this guy named Ebenezer Howard, he kind of came up with the Garden City movement, and he's got. I'm going to show you kind of what it says. Like now, the on Wikipedia, it's got kind of like a sample of this Garden City, and so you got to remember that at the time, this was about 1900, where this Garden City movement was happening, and the Kapuskasing started up in about 1921. Last year was their 100th anniversary. So, wait, it's 2023 now. Ooh, it's 2 years ago. Yeah, that's right. So, Kapuskasing started up, and so they planned it, and it's really neat that the circle here is kind of part of that movement. Like there really wasn't a whole lot of roundabouts. Like this has this circle here. It's kind of like a traffic circle that's all pretty cool these days. But they just say, oh, let's make traffic work better. And so they take out a light and they put in a roundabout. But back then, there really weren't too many roundabouts, even in Europe or England. There was a few, but they just said, hey, let's make a circle just because it looks cool. And it does. So this has 5 roads coming into it. And everyone just knows you slow down, you hang a right, go around the circle. And then, and another thing, guys, if you could, I'm just wondering, I haven't seen a little comment in a while. Am I still on here? Can you audio good, video good? You can let me know. And then otherwise, I'll just keep going. So, oh, great. Okay, we got it. So, so they just said, let's make this cool. And so all the roads here are, they kind of have some curves to them. And it's not just a straight grid pattern like everywhere else in North America. And so it's I wouldn't say it's got really a European vibe, but the way that the streets are all kind of rounded in most cities, it's because that was where the foot traffic was, or maybe there was a big hill, so people went around the hill. But here they just said, nah, let's make some curved streets, we'll make some parks, put a circle here, and we'll just make it look really cool. So and then they did, and so Cap's a pretty cool town. And what you can kind of see behind me that I don't know. I always thought this had kind of like a Disney World or a Disneyland kind of vibe, because it's this was designed to be like the main shopping district, and there are kind of shops coming off of the circle here, and so it still is like I really don't see. Okay, there's one building for rent, but yeah, basically they're all the buildings are they're all rented out, so that's pretty cool. It's not like it's everything's gone to the suburbs. Now there have been a few things built in Kapuskasing on the edges of town because people wanted malls back in whenever, and stuff like that. But hi Dan, welcome back. Okay, so I'm going to get into the Garden City movement. So it might be kind of hard to see on Wikipedia, but I did that for you with my pretty good eyes. And we're going to whip out the whiteboard here. Dun dun! We got the whiteboard. Okay, I'm going to try doing this with my gloves on today because it's a little cold. So so this is what this dude, Ebenezer Howard, was. He thought. Now I thought it was kind of funny because it was like, okay, around the 1900s he was thinking about this stuff. So I thought it was kind of funny some of the words that they used in his planning. Okay, so on Wikipedia, Mr. Howard was talking about. Okay, what do we got here? The circle. No, actually, that was he kind of had some plans. There's more circles, and basically, it was for like the city of tomorrow kind of thing. So here we go. You'd have like the main part of the city, and you'd kind of have like, I guess it was kind of like the first thinking about having suburbs or little towns or something like that. But it was all divided off into little pie-shaped sectors and stuff like that. So you would have, what did you have there? You had, and there was canals going all over the place. Like there was a canal. Why did they have canals? I don't know. And roads, they kind of went all over the place. So you would have where people have different little things to do. And now you would think if this was a suburb, you'd have little towns here and that's the main city, right? But the guy was planning on something totally different. It was kind of funny. Okay, so these guys over here, these are towns, and this little bit here, because the guy was from England, he said, "Well, you got to have your allotment for gardens." And there were, I'm not going to draw it, but there are also roads going everywhere to all these little places. So here's your allotments, basically gardens. So okay, we'll put the G there for gardens. All right, can you see that? So your gardens are here, and if you're living here, you hop on a road and you go to your garden. And then there's also, I'm going to move. How are we going to do this here? Yeah. Okay. And then there's like a train track that goes here. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But I'll show you the cool things. He's like, well, if we're planning a city, it was designed to be, as the title was, the group of slumless, smokeless cities. So back in England, back then in 1900, everybody was still heating their house and cooking with coal. And if you're in downtown London, like you couldn't even breathe. So, and then what do we got here? I see you there, Jordan. Okay. And then, yeah, so there's the allotments there. And then, so it was kind of the idea of you wanted to live with nature. So that's why here in Kapuskasing, they designed, okay, we need a park by the river. Got to throw some tennis courts in there. Got to have a circle. This originally was this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we're going to do the main city. We'll say that's in the middle. Then we got farms over here. Okay, so you got your farms over here. You got your main city. And then now we'll get to the fun, cool stuff. Okay, so, and then it was kind of like on the outskirts. It was almost like he was thinking about like, okay, what are we going to do with these people? So there, he had some really interesting things here. Okay, this here. So you got your farms over here, and here he said farms for epileptics. So you got to have an epileptic farm. Okay. And then over here, uh, we'll call that HFW, and that was Homes for Waifs. So a waif is a homeless person. So he's like, okay, we're going to put our epileptic people here. We're going to put our waifs, our homeless, over here. And then here's another one. You're going to have your HFI over here, the HFI, which is a home for inebriants. So that's where you put all the local town drunks. You throw them in the home for inebriants. It was right on his plan, too. And another thing that you don't see anymore, what's a city without your insane asylum? Right on it says, okay, we got to have our epileptic farms. We got to have a home for waifs. We got to have a home for the inebriants. And we also need an insane asylum just so make everything cool. So, anyways, but I mean, he was also thinking, and then there was he included a college for the blind over here. And then, then there's another thing there too. It was like, okay, over here, IH, that's the industrial homes. It's like, you workers, go live out here way far away from everybody. Get out. And, and I found it was really funny. He almost planned it so this is like the right side of the tracks and the wrong side of the tracks. So you got all your bums and drunks and stuff over here, and you lowly workers over there. And then what else did he have there? Oh, and then we had the convalescent home. Oh, there you go. So the convalescent home would go up there, and that's your for like a nursing home kind of thing. But yeah. So, anyways, there's your Garden City, and so what happened there is like, okay, they tried doing something like that over in England, and it kind of just didn't work. So, if anyone's talking about, oh, we have to do the exact Garden City model, it's like, it's not really going to work exactly. It's an idea that's 120 years old. And then also you got to think about it is like back then, okay, what are you doing with your cars? Where's the airport? Hey, superpilotish. Where are you going to put an airport in there? So, I mean, if you're planning a city, I guess probably what you would want to do is think about, well, there's going to be some new technology and coming up, and plan the best for that. But I don't think you can. But people figure things out, just like here in Cap over the years. It's still got the circle, and it did survive the mall movement of the 60s and 70s, and everything's still pretty cool here. Another thing I was going to talk about was, here in the circle, I was going to say there used to be a farmer's market here in the summertime if you come by Cap, but it's not at the circle anymore. They kind of moved it out by the grocery store parking lot. Actually, there was more room out there for people to park and do stuff. But I mean, it's still a place to hang out. You can see some picnic benches, Christmas trees still up. You got the Christmas lights are still in the tree over here, and then down at the park by the water, that's it's all lit up and nice down there too. So that's your there you go, a little I don't know, Garden City movement lesson for the day. And yeah, you can check it out. I'll put a link to the just so you don't have to Google it in the description below. I'll throw a link to the Garden City movement. So yeah, like I mean, you can't do it exactly like that, but you can take kind of hints from it if you decide to plant a city one day. Oh, that's it. And the other thing I was thinking about that now this really works well in a place like Kapuskasing, where there's really there's no big cities around here to I don't know to influence the town. It's just kind of on its own, and so that's kind of a bit of its charm. And but if you had one of the dangers I would see with any time that anyone's planning a city is that if it becomes the really cool place to be, then everyone moves there and drives the prices up. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say. So like in Toronto, they have their green belts and stuff like that. Well, when they were planning their green belt, they didn't really think about this whole thing here where, okay, if you got farms here and this is an awesome place to live, there's going to be a whole lot of pressure to say, well, let's chop off a little bit of this farm and we need more room for people. And then we'll chop off a bit more because this farm's like worth a lot of money. So if you make a place that's really awesome, property values go up, makes it harder for people to live, and it's like, but I don't think there's anything you can do with it, do with it, but or do about it. But that's the way she goes. Oh, the OPP is around. Yeah, the OPP. Actually, it's funny. Everybody's driving by here looking like I'm some kind of Martian. What the what the hell's this guy doing? But I don't care. It's like it's pretty cool, and yeah. So that's about it. And okay. And I don't see a whole lot of questions or anything here, but I really appreciate you guys for showing up. And I don't know, the old bingo, CKGN bingo. Yeah, I'm going to put a little link to CKGN just so you can, if you want to listen to the bingo on Saturdays at 4. Oh, well, what the heck? You'll know what I'm talking about. So there we go. What do I got a link? CKGN bingo and, oh, yeah, Garden City Movement. Cool. That's about it. And it's nice that it's not too windy today. So, like, it's cold, but I'm feeling pretty good. So that's about it. And I guess we'll just kind of shut her down. All right, here we go. Yeah, and from Kapuskasing, when I'm back, wait a minute, today is Monday. Oh, that's right. So, yeah, I should be home, I think, on Wednesday in the basement. And so, there we go. That's about it. What do we got? Best dinner over there? Question. What is the best dinner over here? I don't know. I kind of staying with family here, so I'm not really going to any restaurants or anything like that. Actually, the best dinner is homemade dinner. There we go. Okay. And we're going to shut her down. Yeah, I'll be back Wednesday because I do it Monday, Wednesday, at Friday, and Friday at noon. Yeah, we'll shut her down. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.